I want to take you guys through a little bit of the evolution of Ahead. Today, we've got 130 employees. We're in 5 states in the Midwest, although we do service a lot of our customers on a global nature. And we're growing rapidly. And we're not only growing from a people perspective, from a revenue perspective, but really the evolution of Ahead, if we look at it over the years, we started out back in 2007 when Dan started the company. It's really a product-focused organization. And our first partner, I think many of you know, is EMC, and we have a lot of EMC expertise. But many of our customers asked us, shortly after, how do we help them implement product? And then in 2011, we took a really giant step for our organization and brought on some great expertise in the consulting area and really said, how do we take the knowledge we have and the IP we have and really turn it into some great consulting offerings. And I'll talk about that in a minute. And we've been delivering engagements to customers now for several years and really adding value to how they think about delivering services and value to their enterprise organizations today. Last year, we really started to get into the public cloud and I'd say infrastructure-related SaaS stuff. So think of Amazon Web Services, vCloud Hybrid Services, SaaS apps like Box, et cetera, to help customers really evaluate and design and plan and roll out things in the public cloud. And this year, one of our big focuses is understanding and how to help customers evolve even a layer up in the platform as a service and big data space. And James is going to come and talk about that. So as the market's evolving, as you guys are having to evolve, we're having to evolve in a very similar manner. Our business can't stay static. The things we consult on, the things we talk to you about and architect are having to evolve day in and day out. So, just to hit some key milestones, Ahead, again, founded about 7 years ago. One of the big things many of you guys have taken advantage of over the years is our lab environment. And we started out in 2010 with a little half rack in a closet. In 2012, we got to 4 racks and started doing some more sophisticated kind of demos and bringing customers in. And it was really a platform for our engineers to learn. Last year, we released what we called Ahead Aviation, which is this fictitious company that we model a lot of the services that we're rolling out in the enterprise so that there was some context around a company. And we're in the process of really building out our next generation lab. And if you've been to our offices, we have 2 data centers now. We can replicate multiple sites. We're taking advantage of the public cloud and other SaaS services. So it's really become an integral part of how we interact with our customers. On the partner spectrum, we look at EMC, as the partner we really started with. Then we embraced VMware. Cisco shortly after that when they launched UCS. And about 2010, 2011, we saw this wave of people wanting to get more intelligent about automating and orchestrating the data center. We partnered with Dynamic Ops, a company that eventually got bought by VMware. We partnered with another company called Cloudpia, which eventually got bought by Cisco, and really started to mature our thinking around that area. Last year was Amazon, or the year before was Amazon, and last year was we started doing a lot of work with ServiceNow. And this year we, I think, are tightening and building a big relationship with Pivotal. And then on the bottom you can see really our trajectory from a revenue perspective. And this goes to all our customers and our partners and our employees. Just this doesn't happen, without a lot of hard work. So we thank you all and thank you for your support. And just this week, Cranes, which is a local publication here, announced that Ahead is one of the fastest 50 growing companies in Chicago. So they look at a 5-year growth rate. So from 2009 to 2013, we grew over 3,000%. So thank you all very much for your support and help in getting there. So if we look at where Ahead is focused today, we really apply what we call our solutions delivery framework, which is pretty constant no matter what the technology we're focused on. So many of you have interacted with us in this way, where we have a collaborative workshop-based approach, and we sit down with our customers to rationalize alternatives. And our current focus as an organization is in 3 core areas: cloud, end-user compute, and the core data center. And then within each of those, we kind of drill into things like infrastructure as a service, DR as a service, enterprise file sync and share, and then the core components of the data center: storage, networking, virtualization. And with each of these, we have several different ways that we interact with our customers. So people come in for executive briefings. Solution briefings are our way of sitting down with a group of people for a half day or 3/4 of a day and really digging deep in a particular technology. You can come in for lab demonstrations. And then we have those core consulting offerings that I mentioned earlier, prioritized action plans where you may need a tune-up in a certain area in your environment, or something more strategic like a strategy and roadmap or design and plan. And at the end of the day, these are some of the example deliverables that you get out of those. And a lot of our customers use these deliverables to kind of build consensus and sell internally to their key stakeholders. So one thing I would highly suggest today is on the 9th floor, where we have kind of our booth, so to speak. We're going to have a lot of our principal consultants, our technical architects up there who drive a lot of these efforts. And I think it would be great to have you guys interact with them, meet with them, learn about all of our offerings, our solutions delivery framework, and see what we're bringing to the marketplace each day. And for each customer, it's really different depending on where you are in your life cycle of the enterprise. And what we're doing for each customer is really building a roadmap. So how do I get from a builder of components, which a lot of people still are, they want to turn screwdrivers and measure cables, which in some instances we have to do. But what we really want to be doing in the enterprise today is talking about services that we deliver out to the organization, to the business, to make them more agile. So what we want to do is plot out a roadmap. What do we have to do now? What do we have to plan for in the near term? And then what can we set our sights on longer term? And so for each of these core areas we're playing in, and that you probably have an initiative around, we're looking at key milestones that we need to build to get there. So this is going to look a little different for everyone. And as part of our strategy and design work and our roadmap work, we're building these types of roadmaps into our deliverables and helping you guys get from where you are today to where you guys need to be tomorrow. And that's really a lot about what this conference is today, to spark some thought, to get some ideas out on the table, because it's very easy in everyone's day-to-day job to kind of put the blinders on and think about, what do I have to get done today? And if there's one constant right now, it's that there's tons of change. Our business has to change to keep evolving. Our partners' business has to change. And your businesses are changing day in, day out. And so when I was developing this presentation and thinking about what I wanted to talk about, I kind of sat down and I said, what's been happening over the last couple of years? And I just kind of wrote some notes down and looked at some key milestones. And I just kind of threw up some graphical representation of what I see happening out there today, or what has happened, and how short of a window some of the things that have been delivered. I think of the iPad. It's 4 years old. They've shipped 170 million iPads out there. There's over 500 million iPhones, 2 trillion objects in Amazon S3 as of mid last year, 1 billion Android devices. So how does all this stuff get created? How is this stuff happening so fast? How are the cycle times being driven? And if we really look at it today, I look at 3 components that are driving this: the core components of infrastructure and the reduction that we've seen over the last couple years, I should say last decade, if you look at the numbers up here. So from 90 to 2012, we've gone from over $500 per 1 million transistors to 5 cents. Storage from over $500 a gig to 2 cents a gig, and so on and so forth with bandwidth. And this is, the incredible economics of, as Mark Andreessen says, of software eating the world, because the platforms that we need to create the software on are becoming ubiquitous. And what I look at is back in kind of 1999, I think back to how hard it was to innovate. We would go into organizations and we would say, well, if you want to experiment with something, need a couple $1 million in storage maybe, need to go and pay Oracle for $1 million or $2 of software, got to get a team of people that's going to go carve off some time, that costs money. And people were really risk averse because it was really expensive, and if you failed, it was really costly. Today, it's quite different. So I look at the startup costs today to experiment as $5,000. That's 2 laptops. Now, are there other expenses? But the CapEx cost to get started, that's what 2 guys in a garage are using today. And they're connecting to some platform as a service out there or infrastructure as a service, and they can get started. And really, that's driving a lot of experimentation. In every one of our accounts today, what I see are innovation teams coming together. So the CIO, CTO, sparking innovation by getting a group or a matrix team of people together to say, go hog wild, spend several $1,000s, get something up and running, and really start to innovate. And that innovation is being driven out of new initiatives. How do we take our business from what we were doing today? We have insurance companies that have agents out there that are taking digital pictures and shortening the time it takes to file claims out there. We have companies that are 50, 100 years old spinning out new businesses because the existing business has a model that works today but isn't going to work tomorrow. We have to support new devices, support more users, support new applications, and many things that are going to be all around us that are going to be reporting home, and we're going to be crunching data on and making better decisions for our businesses faster. And in my opinion, and I think the opinion that many people hold, is this isn't going to happen at a data center at a time or a company at a time. It's really going to be more individual applications that are going to get spun up, spun out, and really delivered to the marketplace in a very rapid way. And I think what you're going to hear from James today is, I think over the past couple of years, we've been hearing, Amazon is on Netflix and, runs their entire business, and they started there and only they can do it. But the tools that these guys have been using, that the kind of cloud-first, born-in-the-cloud organizations are using, are now becoming readily available to the enterprise. And for us to take hold of. And we need to build great infrastructure, to build great apps, and have great platforms for our application developers to use. And I think you're going to hear some really exciting stuff today on that front. And we're going to go all the way from the app view all the way down to the core guts of the infrastructure and have some really great conversations today about this. But I see there's really 4 market-shifting kind of themes out there today. One is, I think over the next couple of years, we're going to have just cheap and plentiful infrastructure and platform as a service out there. The scale at which people are delivering these services isn't on the thousands of servers or tens of thousands of servers. It's millions of servers. And those economics are going to really drive down the cost of us doing a lot of experimentation, rolling out a lot of new concepts, delivering a lot to the business that we couldn't deliver today at the current cost. SaaS, I think every organization I go into, if they can move it to a SaaS business, if they can evaluate some use case and deliver something as a SaaS service, they're doing so, they're looking at that. We're going to have to get very comfortable at managing a lot of SaaS contracts, a lot of provisioning SaaS, reclaiming accounts. It's not as easy as it seems, and it can be death by 1,000 cuts. I can personally vouch for that as someone who's also responsible for the infrastructure at a head. We are all in the cloud and all SaaS, and it's not just 1 or 2 platforms. There's several dozen that we consume on a daily basis. The third is open source and ubiquitous APIs, I'll call it. I think APIs are nothing new, but exposing them, making them readily available, and open sourcing a lot is just going to continue to happen in the marketplace. And people are going to take advantage of that. And we're going to come up with new apps and new use cases based on just having control of things we never could tap into before. And then I really believe there's a globally accessible knowledge and talent base that we're going to tap into, and we are tapping into. We historically have thought of offshoring as one route, but this is more than that. This is people in South America, people in the Middle East, people in Asia, and really collaborating in real time and innovating across borders in ways we've never done before. So I think these things are really exciting. We're helping drive these themes in a lot of organizations, and we all have to embrace them. We have to be change agents. And a lot of these are really fundamentally democratizing access to people and companies that could never afford to do things in the ways the big boys could do them. And so I look at all this, and I get a lot of feedback from customers that say, boy, we've been through this, change. The last couple of years have been really hectic. I think it's slowing down, and my view is that we've only felt the tremors. The earthquake is coming, and a lot of change is still upon us. And we have to be out there spearheading change within our organizations. And I think if I look at the big rocks out there today, as kind of leaders within organizations, we have to, one, evolve our skills and capabilities. A lot of us have built great things internally to our organizations over the years that really are differentiators. We have to market those. We have to help drive those capabilities and continue to evolve them both personally and kind of as products within our organizations. We have to build and deliver elastic infrastructure. I think a lot of people are still used to building really discrete components that are hard to scale. We need to be more adept at delivering really on-demand infrastructure, whether that's in our data center, outside our data center, and hopefully a combination of the two. On top of that, we have to help our app dev teams continuously deliver applications. Every customer I go in front of today, it's how do we make our developers more productive? And I'm seeing some faces in here today that were in the midst of those conversations, because the developers are really the ones that are helping evolve and change and drive a lot of the new innovation, from a customer-facing perspective, a lot of times in the organizations we deal with. Next is really helping analyze and process data faster. So, the cycles at which we're expected to look at data are not days at a time or weeks at a time. It's within hours or below that in some cases, depending on the market you're in. And then really proactively shrink the time to market and value to the organization. No longer are CIOs and leaders within the organizations we deal with going to deal with time horizons that are multiple quarters or years long. It's just not possible these days. So, I look at the inflection points that we have today, things like new apps, new initiatives, new companies, app refreshes, infrastructure moves and changes, and we really have to seize these moments. These are the opportunities that we have to take advantages of to say, should we be doing the things we're doing today differently? And the answer most often is today, in our opinion, is there's probably a different way to do it. Is that better? Well, that's what we're here to help figure out and make sense of. I think there's a lot of organizations that are going to take a hold of a lot of the newer technologies, a lot of the newer themes that are out there, and are going to be very competitive and innovative. They're going to deliver upon infrastructure and platform as a service. They're going to have rich data services out there. They're going to build on converged infrastructure potentially, leverage the public cloud, be highly automated and service-oriented, and be time-to-market focused. The other thing they're going to do is be transparent with cost. Over the years, no one's ever really figured out the chargeback, showback model. And I think the tools are becoming a lot better. The public cloud has forced internal IT to be a lot more transparent, and I think that's really going to come to fruition over the next couple of years. The other thing is we have choices to make, and some people won't continue to evolve and continue to be thought leaders. And in my opinion, in our opinion, I don't think they're going to be as competitive as their peers in the marketplace. And for some businesses, that may make sense, but for many, it won't. So our belief is that, if you want to think about these new technologies, these new focus areas, the new way that people are building services, you really need a new partner with people that understand this space, with a solution set and a delivery framework that can help you get there, and a set of partners that are market leading. And at the end of the day, that's we believe ahead is there. We don't have a lot of the legacy thought process, and we're really trying to innovate the way we do business and the way we deliver services to you and the solutions that we focus on.